How you doing? This is the guy from Pittsburgh. And tonight we got confirmation at last that Barack Obama has finally gone off the deep end. He thinks he's hearing imaginary voters that didn't vote. And he thinks that gives him some kind of a mandate. Even though the Republicans had their greatest gains in something like 70 or 80 years, with state houses turning overwhelmingly Republican, state legislatures turning overly Republican, and the Senate and the House going Republican. But Obama thinks that he has a unique opportunity to try to make this town work. And everyone who voted, I want to know, I hear you. To the 2/3 of voters who chose not to participate, I hear you too. And he wants to make sure there's no earthquakes because he wants the ground to be stable underneath everybody's feet. So I don't know what the hell that means. The future's secure. How can he possibly secure that? There's a path for young people to succeed. There's one that stayed away. They voted for him last time. And that folks in here in Washington are concerned about it. Well, the Republicans are, but Obama, well, he's got more golf than balls, folks. He plans to spend every moment of the next 2 years doing my job the best I can to keep this country safe and to make sure more Americans share in the prosperity. Well, the problem is we have the worst recovery in American history. This country has made real progress since the crisis 6 years ago. Wrong. More Americans are working. Wrong. Unemployment has come down. Yeah, but they don't mention all the people that are off the unemployment rolls. They've quit looking for work. More Americans have health insurance. Well, that's wrong too. People's premiums are going through the roof. $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to have health insurance. Manufacturing has grown a little. Our deficits have shrunk a little. Our businesses aren't creating jobs at the fastest pace since 1990s. Our economy is outpacing most of the world. Well, I don't think so. And Obama wants to drink bourbon with McConnell. That'll help things. Two guys getting drunk in the White House. We got to keep at it till every American feels a gain of the growing economy that matters most. Much of that action will come from Congress. He's eager to work with Congress to make the next 2 years as productive as possible. We think the last 6 years with Harry Reid blocking every Republican bill, there's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 bills sitting in the hopper. So how can it be productive? And maybe with Harry Reid gone, something will actually get passed. He says he won't disagree with some issues that we're passionate about. Congress will pass some bills I cannot sign, like repeal of Obamacare. And he'll probably pass some executive orders that Congress won't take, like giving amnesty to undocumented workers, as he said in his speech. We can surely find ways to work together on issues with a broad agreement among the American people. Obama, broad agreement means only if it's a leftist or Democratic agreement. Anything the Republicans want, he doesn't want, and he's not going to compromise. And we're always told we have to compromise with the Democrats, but it never goes the other way around. They don't compromise with us, and neither does the occupant of the White House. We agree on the need to create more jobs. Rebuilding our infrastructure. This guy is obsessed with rebuilding the infrastructure. He's the one that's tearing it down. You got no money for the Federal Highway Trust System. We have a Keystone pipeline that could create jobs, but he's against it. He's waiting for the State Department. Well, how long have they had? 2, 3 years to decide whether or not to build a damn pipeline. But he's waiting for them to decide whether or not to build the pipeline. The environmentalist nuts don't want it because some animal or bird or snail darter might live in some area. Okay, if the snail darter lives there, build a pipeline around the snail darter. Or whatever endangered creature it is. Build it 20 miles away so it doesn't affect the thing. Canada's building its own pipeline all the way to the west coast. And guess where that oil's going to go? Japan, China, and India. It ain't going to go here. He wants tax reform that closes loopholes. It makes more attractive for companies to create jobs here. They're leaving in droves because they don't want to pay the onerous taxes. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. Meanwhile, the left and the ultra-left, oh, the 1%, the evil companies, shut them all down, arrest them all, hang them all. That's why jobs aren't being created. Unlike Hillary Clinton, who businesses don't create jobs, that's a bunch of BS, and you know it, Hillary. And so does Obama. Businesses are the ones that hire people. They go out, they get a loan, or they have their old money, and they're rich, yes. And I noticed something about the left. They never complain about Barack Obama, who's worth $5 million, or Bill Gates, or Steve Jobs, when he was alive, or Warren Buffett, or Larry Ellison, or any of the left billionaires. They're left alone. Steve Jobs' widow is worth $15 billion. No one talks about any of those people who are leaning toward the left or donate to the left. But God help you if you're conservative like the evil Koch brothers. They donate to Republican and conservative causes. That's the double standard talking, folks. And he's still going about aspiration for young people, early childhood education. The Head Start program has been funded since LBJ, and it's abysmal failure. We got kids graduating from school, can't read, can't write, can't fill out a job application. Those same young people he's obsessed about. Then he said voters went 5 for 5 to increase the minimum wage. Yeah, you got to increase the minimum wage because food prices, rent, everything is going up except gasoline is going down. And the reason it's going down, not because of Barack Obama, we're producing so much gas, we're exporting it. He wants a national increase in the minimum wage. Well, Bill O'Reilly thinks $10 an hour would be good. I think we need more like 12. You can't live on $10 an hour. Not in California, I'll tell you, and sure as hell not in Alaska. And he thinks that funding to ensure our doctors, scientists, and troops have the resources they need to combat Ebola and increase our preparedness for any future cases at home. Well, you want to prepare, Obama? Stop letting people from West Africa in who've been exposed to Ebola. Why don't you build a hospital at JFK, in Atlanta, in Chicago, in Dallas, in Los Angeles? And if they come in here, if they've come to Africa, in fact, why don't you have Ebola planes? If they don't put them on a regular plane, everybody's freaked out, put anybody who's working in West Africa, whether it's military or civilian, doctors, soldiers, stick them on the plane, put them in a hospital, test them and quarantine for 21 days, or as WHO wants, 42 days. Then you got nobody worrying about, gee, these guys are going bowling, they're going to dinner, they're going down the subway, they're taking Uber, they're taking a cab. They're isolated. There's no chance or little chance of anybody getting Ebola. Of course, it doesn't help that the CDC bought defective hazmat suits and outdated medicine to fight disease, does it? And that's in the hands of Obama because ultimately he's responsible like the captain of the ship for everything the government does. And he complained in the past that the Republicans with the sequester stopped the government. The government kept running. We had air traffic controllers. We had planes flying. The military didn't stop in Afghanistan. The military went over to Africa. You know, our army didn't disband. We weren't invaded by hordes of Chinese or Mexican troops. Government went on. That whole thing was a sham by the Democrats to put blame on the Republicans like they always do. So he's saying they hope they pass the budget in the same bipartisan, drama-free way they did earlier this year. I don't know when that was ever drama-free. It's time for us to take care of business. I'm optimistic about our future. I have good reason to be. Yeah, you'll be out of office in 2 years, and you'll be going on a lecture tour like Bill Clinton, and he didn't do any good either. He went out and everybody he campaigned for lost. So the Hillary Clinton coattails got cut off with a scissor. Bill Clinton, as personable as he can be, did no good. And He believes we're more in the collection of red and blue states. We're the United States. Well, I got news for you, Obama. We're now the red states, and the people are fed up. And I don't know why 2/3 of the people didn't vote. I looked in the California election, and I said, this is horrible. 5 million people voted for governor. Now, with the choices we had, Jerry Brown, Governor Moonbeam, and the bald Republican, who at least went out amongst the people. You didn't see much of Jerry Brown campaigning. I guess he didn't have to, but he was busy telling all the illegal aliens to come in from South America, Central America. You're all welcome, everybody come in. Well, people in this state don't have jobs. He wants more people to pour in here. But we got 43 million people in this state. Now you divide 5 into 43, that's 8. That's 1/8 of the people voted. Maybe even Californians are fed up. And we didn't pass a casino initiative. We passed a thing to make prisoners get out on misdemeanors. They didn't pass 2 of the things. They inundated with things on health care. And they passed a water bond. And you had 2 Democrats running for the same superintendent of education job. There's a big choice. And he's talking about immigration or climate change. He's obsessed with climate change. When the head of the former creator of the Weather Channel said there is no thing as global warming, it's all a fraud. Our kids are going to the best possible schools. Communities are creating jobs. To opening the doors up to everybody who's willing to work hard and take responsibility. And he said earlier his policies were on the ballot. Well, they were. People are fed up. People are finally waking up. And he's a guy who's elected by everybody, not from a particular state or district. Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but you got 51 or 52% of the vote. 48% of the vote didn't vote for you. So you didn't get elected by everybody. You got elected by a majority of the vote. But you didn't get 100%. So quit telling people that lie. And quit saying there's gridlock. You want gridlock, get rid of Harry Reid, get rid of Pelosi, get rid of Feinstein, get rid of Boxer, get rid of that nut you got running the Democratic National Committee. Because Harry Reid has been the #1 reason for gridlock in the Congress. He won't let anything go to your desk. I'm surprised you have any toilet paper and paper towels in the White House. That Harry Reid let that appropriation go through so you could, and food. Surprised he didn't table that. He didn't table the federal budget. And there goes with improve the schools, make college more affordable. Young people, they can't afford college now. They got $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 in student loans to pay off. They're bankrupt. And let's see, infrastructure. There he goes again with boosting American imports. He mentioned that a number of times. And let's see, what else is here? I'm going down the list here. More opportunity to more people. How do we grow the economy faster? You haven't done it in 6 years. What, do you got the magic economy beans now? The economy's going to go and just suddenly grow like Jack and the Beanstalk? I have a naive confidence we continue to focus on the American people, not our own ambitions or image or various concerns. I'm going to be able to say American people are better off than they were before I was president. Well, I got news for you. They aren't better off. So quit deluding yourself, Obama. Let's see. And there goes rebuilding the infrastructure, early childhood education. He's bringing that up again. And he called the 2010 midterm a shellacking. What do you call this? And he said, does your election affect the plans to release the executive order on immigration? In other words, on amnesty. And he goes, well, that's, he's got his lips are sealed. He can talk any other time, but on this thing, his lips are sealed. And So he starts saying the Republicans had a good night. We're going to reach out to Mitch McConnell and John Boehner and find out what their agenda is. And worry about the fact I'm a single mom. At the end of the month, it's really hard to pay bills. Huge child care costs. Young qualified can go to college. Worried about taking 50 grand a year out of debt. Don't know how to pay that back. Construction workers. Construction work should be done, but now for some reason projects are stalled. They're stalled because you and Harry Reid have blocked them. Keystone Pipeline, drilling off our shores. Those projects could be ramped up right now within 60 days. Put people to work. And a comprehensive immigration reform bill would strengthen our borders, streamline our legal immigration system. It works better. And we're attracting the best and the brightest from around the world. And an opportunity for folks who've lived here for a very long time, may have kids who are U.S. citizens but aren't properly documented. That means illegal aliens, folks. Give them the chance to pay their back taxes, get in the back of the line, and go through a process that allows them to get legal. Well, 67% of voters polled in election polls said we don't want amnesty. But Obama doesn't get that. Did you hear that? Or as I say, can you smell him now? And let's see. The Senate passed a good bill. We got a bipartisan bill out of the Senate. And he blamed Boehner. Said Boehner wasn't going to call it up this year. I feel I am obligated to do everything I can lawfully do with my executive authority to make sure we don't keep the system worse. Whatever executive actions I take will be replaced and supplanted by action by Congress. You send me a bill I can sign and those executive actions go away. That sounds like extortion to me, folks. Give me a bill I can sign or I pass the executive order giving everybody amnesty. Commitment I made not just the American people, to businesses in the evangelical community. Well, the evangelical community, businesses, law enforcement folks, he says, they don't want amnesty. The Border Patrol doesn't want amnesty. The sheriffs of Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, they don't want amnesty. They're fighting. They're seeing hordes of illegals cross their borders. And let's see. What else have you got here? He's going to wake up again. He's obsessed with waking up all the time. I guess he sleeps all night. Hard day of golfing. Gets up like noon, Stays up for 10 minutes, has some coffee, and then goes out and golfs. That's what he does. He's obsessed with waking up. And we've seen a lot of arguing and gridlock. Yeah, we got gridlock because of Harry Reid. And let's see. Oh yeah, here's another wonderful phrase we've heard for years. He wanted to get immigration done in his first term. We didn't see legislative action. In my second term, I made up my top legislative priority. How many times has this guy said top priority? He loves that phrase, top priority. There's about 12 different things that were his top priority, including attacking ISIS, attacking Al-Qaeda, creating jobs. I don't have time to look on YouTube for the list of top priority, but I know he's got a whole bunch of top priorities. And, when you say top priority, you've got one priority. Everything else is below that. So he doesn't even know what the phrase means, but he uses it all the time. And executive actions I take will go away. Why do them at all? The people don't like it. You won't admit it. You got that Al Sharpton idiot who said that this wasn't a landslide. This wasn't, it didn't happen. And you're denying it too. You act as if the American people just told you that you can do whatever you want still. That's changed. So here goes, executive authorities to do that. And sooner they do it from my perspective, the better. Well, that's the whole problem. He wants them to do it from his perspective, which is amnesty. And let's see. And Mitch McConnell says he's met with him only once or twice during the entire 6 years. How the hell is this guy supposed to meet with Mitch McConnell and with the other congressional leaders if he's only met with the minority guy in the Senate twice? You really think anything's going to get done? This guy wants to make sure everything works. I would have been up there. I would have driven my car up. The hell with the limousine. I would have gotten in the car and driven up to Capitol Hill. It ain't that far. I've been to both places. And I would say, hey, let's have a meeting. Let's have lunch in the Senate lunchroom. Let's have some bean soup or something. And coffee. And let's talk this thing out. To stop the Congress. Get all the leaders in here. Let's have lunch and let's talk about the issues. We got unemployment, domestic and international security, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, Ebola. You notice Ebola's dropped off the radar. Now, he mentioned yesterday that there's progress in Liberia, and yet in Sierra Leone, the last city not to have Ebola, they got Ebola cases like wildfire. So that's dropped off the radar. And let's see. And he would enjoy having some bourbon, Mitch McConnell. And then there's Iran, nuclear Iran. That kind of went under the radar too. And let's see what else is going on here. Whole bunch of stuff about nuclear Iran, but I'm not going to talk about that because he hasn't done anything much. Nuclear Iran. And oh, here's a reporter. He says, why not take a page in the Clinton playbook and admit that he has to make a dramatic shift in his thinking. And he won't say if we're winning against ISIS, we're losing. And let's see, what else is here? And I'm reading the transcript here, folks, in case you're wondering. That's what I can scroll down here. And here he goes. Kid to go to college, finding a job, quality health care, and nominee for Eric Holder, replace Eric Holder. Outstanding candidates. Well, I guess they're outstanding out in the cold because Eric Holder was not outstanding candidate. And let's see. Oh, this is lovely. The lowest increase in health care cost in 50 years. Yeah, that's why you got $8,000 premiums with Obamacare. And so well, let's see. Keystone Pipeline, they'll send you legislation on that. They asked about the getting rid of medical device tax, which is a terrible thing to do to people that need wheelchairs and other things. They shouldn't be taxing people for things they need, whatever it is. And Republicans say the election's a referendum, and Obama says he doesn't want to read the tea leaves on election results. So I guess he's had a teapot sitting there for the last 6 years, and every time there's an election, he pours over the tea leaves. And so this year, maybe they dumped the tea leaves out. Sometimes I wish we could have a new tea party and dump some tea on the White House lawn or throw it over the fence. And think about Canadian oil. And let's see, what else? And it goes. Oh Oh yeah, one Democratic fan of Obama said that he was trapped in the White House. They wouldn't let him go out on the campaign trail. And the real reason is that Democrats realized he was toxic waste and he would drag them down. And everywhere that Obama campaigned, that candidate went down to defeat. So, oh God, I don't know if I can read any more of this. It's like, it would be comedic if it wasn't so sad. And he's talking about wages and income have not gone up. Wages and income have not gone up partly because you're Obamacare. Companies are cutting people's hours because under 30 hours they don't have to pay the premiums for Obamacare for their employees. We need to scrap Obamacare, keep the thing that if someone's sick already, they got insurance. Maybe let the kids stay home, they're 26, because it's going to take 26 years for them to find a job. And the Americans are restless and impatient, and we want to get things done. Well, they're restless and impatient, and that's why they voted on Tuesday. So, this is the worst press conference I think I've heard in my life. Oh yeah, he said he wasn't mopey about their election returns. So is there like mopey, dopey, sneezy, happy, and that all the key Democrats on the Hill? And Obama will be mopey, and dopey would be Harry Reid, and sneezy would be Nancy Pelosi, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz would be Snow White or Schmo White. I don't know. Well, I've gone on for a long time, but it's hard to do something when you got all this stuff. So this guy is so delusional, he should be on Coast to Coast AM telling how what's next. You'll be seeing Abraham Lincoln giving him advice on illegal immigration or ISIS. And come to think of it, Abraham Lincoln helped fight the Civil War and bring the country back together, so it might not be a bad idea to channel into Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to channel myself out of here. Hello, Justin. Free Art Bell if there's anything left to free, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good morning. Bye-bye.